Yeah, overall, not our best night of soccer by any stretch. Disappointing first half from our guys. I think we felt it at halftime and weren't happy. Credit to New England, they came out with three defense-minded midfielders and basically man marked our three key guys and Ali Harris and Borak. It kind of frustrated us a little. We didn't do a good job with our other players, maybe just advancing the ball and connecting passes. We kind of forced things and rushed things. A little better in the second half, I thought. Very good to win 1-0 games at this stage of the year. I think, though, there's moments in seasons now. You could point to David Accam's goal in Chicago. You could talk about the play that gets made by El Sino to make the New York City game comfortable. You can talk about Andre Blake tonight, and then the performance he had where he basically gets us 3 points. These are moments that can define seasons, can shape seasons, and we need to use this momentum and recognize we didn't play our best tonight, but we still found a way to get a result, which is very important. I'd also like to say, with our staff, the work that Tim Hanley's done with Andre, B.J. Callahan, Pat Noonan, Dick Schroeder, our entire performance staff put a lot of work in it and sometimes maybe don't get the love and accolades that they deserve. So I do think it's a moment to recognize them and the hours and hard work they put in, our equipment guys, everybody, the whole crew. Has put a lot into things right now, and it's always good sometimes to step back when you get in this whirlwind of a season and recognize that, hey, there's some people doing some good things here, and they deserve it. So credit to the players tonight. Big 3 points, great crowd, pushed us on. Entertaining game, strange game, whatever you want to call it, but 3 points at the end of the day.
Jim, what did you see on the VAR, and specifically for situations like that? Is that something that you teach your guys like Corey to play out until there's a whistle?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to take credit for that play as a coach. You hear it from the age of 5, play to the whistle, So, again, credit to Corey. He was the only one that kind of kept going, it seemed, in the whole stadium maybe. There was a moment, because I was next to the linesman who was certain of himself that it was offsides, where now you're almost embarrassed for Corey, who's celebrating, taking his shirt off and on his knees, looking up to the heavens, and you're kind of going, this is a embarrassing moment for the kid, but it was a goal, and it was a big goal that won us a game. A strange night in that regard, and in terms of the goal that was scored to decide the game, but we'll take it.
Go ahead, Jim, I noticed, I guess, about a minute before halftime, Austin misplayed a pass, and you could tell the visible frustration.
Yeah.
I assume that was within most of the squad. How do you kind of channel that frustration within the squad at halftime and come out so fast and so aggressive like you did in those first 10 minutes of the second half?
Yeah, listen, I think that the difference is with this group, I think it's important not to compare it to old groups because every year is new. Austin's frustrated with himself in that moment, said a couple words that his mom would not be proud of, but it was visible frustration. And in those times when it is hard and it's not going your way, maybe we're not passing the ball the best, it can become contagious, and the next guy tries to make a key play instead of doing the simple things that make us good. Just pass it, give it to the next guy, and put the special players on the ball and let them do their thing. Still a shutout and a clean sheet, so there's still moments to learn from, but every player's development, there's going to be down games. I think Austin had a tough game, but at the same time, he fought through it, and he did a good job, and we kept a clean sheet, made some big clearances. And these are the type of games where in the past we maybe had letdowns and didn't close things out. We've been a team, and you can go to the data on this, and I don't want to jinx things, but when we do get a lead, we're closing out games. When we take a lead, it's tough for teams to break us down. Helps to have Andre Blake behind you, but at the same time, I think it shows some growth from the organization.
Go ahead, Mike.
You talked about closing it out. Derek and El Sino come on
Yeah.
in the second half and seem to do a pretty good job
Yeah.
getting on the ball.
Yeah, and they do it in two totally different ways. Il Sino with beating guys and dribbling and drawing fouls and kind of killing time and frustrating a tired opponent, because New England put a lot into the game, and they fatigued towards the end, which was important. And then Derek kind of changes it by the little things, breaking up a play, dribbling out of a tight spot and then just connecting a simple pass. So two guys those are hard moments to go into games, man. Nothing good can happen, especially for a defense-minded sub in Derek in that moment, because if you win, you're just supposed to, and if you concede a goal, people point to you, fair or unfair, and that's the reality of it. So again, young kid who goes into a tough moment and does a really good job for us. Little things, broke up plays, ran with the ball, killed some time. And if you're going to win in playoff time in the real season, if you're going to get to the real season and then actually do something there, you need those types of intelligent plays from guys.
Jim, what was the conversation like with Brad after the video review was finalized? It seemed like you guys.
Yeah, I just said I was confused. I don't know what happened. He was, just talking, about what happened as well. So we're trying to piece together what the moment, what happened in that moment, and some days it goes for you, and some days it goes against you. I think all the coaches can kind of relate to each other in the highs and lows and the small margins, and it was just a discussion about that was a strange goal, in terms of some guys stopped, some guys kept playing. The flag goes up, was the whistle blown? All things I didn't really fully have an answer for, and VAR concluded that it was a goal, so we're happy there.
Did he tell you guys anything to calm them down after that? It looked like Harris was animated, and there's been instances where Harris has lost his head this year. Do you tell them anything to calm them down? Yeah,
listen, Harris was competitive tonight. I think when you get man marked and chased around the field like he did, maybe some contact here and there, it raised his emotions a bit, but he did it in a way that was right on the edge. That fine line of you're controlled, but you're also able to frustrate the guy you're playing against. I just was reminding Harris to stay calm. You could tell some players were trying to bait him into something, doing something maybe not smart, and he, to his credit, kept his composure in a hard spot, and we get out with 3 points, which is key.
Mark, Jonathan, go ahead. Did either official or the fourth official say anything to you about what their decision was?
I actually didn't ask because they said it was a goal, so I wasn't too worried. But no, the linesman put his flag up, and it was like, I just gave the "Are you sure?" and he said he was 100% sure it was offsides. Turns out it wasn't. So a day where I think VAR, hopefully, again, I don't have all the details and all the angles and stuff, but hopefully it was the right call, and it's a big call. It's a big 3 points for us. New England put a ton into the game. We put a lot into the game. It was an ugly night of soccer, but at the same time, no one remembers that, and people go home happy, and it's 3 points.
Right, Joe. Jim, again, beat another team beneath you in the standings. You
Yeah.
got 2 more ahead next week.
Yeah.
How important is it to kind of quickly regroup and make sure you get those points out of those 2 road games?
Yeah, I keep stressing we haven't really accomplished anything yet. Toronto's coming. DC's coming. It's not going to be easy. There's things going to change 10 different times from now till the end of the year. Some team that you think now is dead in the water is going to step up and come out of nowhere. It happens all the time. Momentum changes so fast in this league. I think the only certainties right now are Atlanta's pretty good. Again, we have a lot to work on, a lot we can improve. But we are starting to show that we're in the discussion of one of the good teams in the Eastern Conference. It's a strong Eastern Conference. Everybody's going to be picking each other off down the stretch now. We're going to need Atlanta to keep winning. We're going to need them to beat the teams that are in and around us. We're going to need Red Bull to help us. New York City, the teams that are probably realistically too difficult for us to catch right now, we're going to need help from them to pick off some of the teams. It's going to be wild. It's going to be typical down to the wire, but I'm really proud of my team for winning these types of games where in the past maybe tonight looks like a tie, or we're feeling maybe we read too many of your guys' headlines this week and there could be a letdown. I was concerned with that. We had a discussion about that in film. Again, I'm really proud of them for the intensity that they showed in the game and to get a shutout at home in what's been pretty much 5 really big games in a row. They all have big pressure, and guys are really raising their level.
We need to do a couple more. We'll go, Ryan.
That goal was so weird that the crowd really kind of was confused as well. Harris mixes it up with their bench. He gets in it with their players. Do you think that kind of gave that? He's waving his arms and the crowd's going nuts. Do you think that helped? Was that a veteran move, or was that just him?
I actually, my first reaction as to what was going on is it felt like a WWF moment. That's the only way I could. That's the way it felt. You had a guy over here celebrating a goal. You have people confused. You have fans. The dupe thing didn't go off. There was just confusion in the whole entire stadium. And then Harris is getting the crowd fired up, and it was, I'd say, organized chaos. I don't know how to really describe it, but we're happy that we came out on the right end, and hopefully they got the call right. But it was certainly one of the strangest things I've seen, and you guys have seen some strange things here. So yeah, that was a wild one for sure.
Go ahead, Mike.
Ray Gaddis became the team leader
Yeah.
in minutes played tonight. Can you
Yeah.
just talk a little bit about what
It's an incredible achievement. You know, he when you think Philadelphia Union, you think of the Latous, you think of Brian Carroll, you think of Ray, guys that have been here, and for him to achieve that and put the minutes in that he has for the club as a starter, off the bench, right back, left back, never says a word, brings everything every day to training, is such a mentor for our young players. And loves the city of Philadelphia and really loves the club. He's in the community everywhere. He has a big heart. He's from a great family, and it's an incredible achievement for him. You know, to be number one in anything is important, and to show that just shows that you're a true professional and you're consistent. You know, you're here every day, and that's a hard thing especially for young players to understand. You know, that are coming up, whether they're in the academy, in the USL, and then to the first team. That this thing is a grind, and that there's going to be good days and highs and lows, and some part of being a professional is how you respond to those hard moments. And Ray's been a guy who has been through some of those. He's been through the heartbreaks of Open Cups with me. We're going to get another crack at it, and we're going to give it everything. So he's the type of guy I think of when we get to final, because you never know how many you're going to get to. I want him to win it more than I've experienced it. I know what it feels like. I want it more than anything, but at the same time, you want it for him. You want it for Fabi, who's been here through the other two. You want it for Andre. And again, Ray's can't say enough positive about him and the season he's having. He's playing excellent.
Two more, Jonathan and Adam Real
The Jones for Doge call so late. Any nerves on that about it maybe being too early, or what was it going through your mind with that?
Yeah, listen, we had some guys cramping. We had some fatigue out there. New England started to pin us in a little bit. We wanted to maybe get some Ollie in front and get his legs out to press balls. Kind of backfired because he pressed so hard he cramped up in his groin and his calf. Then we had to make another change. But that was late enough that it was covered. So there's nerves every time you make a sub. Is it the right decision? Shoot, is it too early, too late? I think we've gotten more right than wrong this time around, this year. But yeah, certainly it was earlier than probably we wanted to do it. But you started to see, fatigue from Corey, and then when Corey can't quite press the way we want, it has a domino effect. And then Borek's a little late, and now we just wanted to make a change where we had a true guy that would sit in there in Derek Jones, and he did a pretty darn good job for us. So, yeah, it was 80th minute, but yeah, I had a feeling of that as well. Maybe we pushed for a second goal. It's that balance. But they locked it down and did a good job. This week it went right. It might not go right on Wednesday. It can change quick.
Wrap it up with that. Jim, Red, tried to take your center three out of the game.
Yeah.
And starting off in the second, and did pretty well in the first half. Starting off in the second half, though, right at the beginning, Ali drives into the box and rips that shot off that gets deflected.
Yeah.
Did that set the tone for the second half?
I think we started the second half very well, which is critical, and that's us. Harris plays a long ball, but we're alert for the knockdown, like the little things of squeezing space and now being in a really good spot as that ball's traveling in the air. It's not so much if CJ wins it or not, it's who's there to scoop up the next one, and you saw us scoop up that second ball, and now all of a sudden you're only 25 yards from goal. We talked with when you're getting man marked, number one, they're going to get tired at some point because that three is as fit as anyone in the league, and I know that there's some guys for their team that are maybe haven't started, a lot of games this year. So the message was patience. Move in a way that creates space for others. If they're just going to follow you around, find different ways to run through late, just so you're taking someone with you, and it clears space for other people. And they did a good job of that. Listen, it wasn't our best game. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm really happy with how the soccer we played. But on certain nights, Ali setting the tone in the second half, those little things add up. We get a corner off of it, and it gets the crowd going, and it can shift momentum pretty quickly.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
Lockers up.